Hello my friends and welcome to the workshop. This is the first episode in a series I'd like to call Kagamin's Customs. In this series I invite you into my workshop to take a look at the various custom creations I've made over the years. In this first episode we'll be diving into my custom steam locomotive tank engine character named Dana. Without further ado, let's get into the backstory. Dana, also known as Day Day, is a fictional 040 original tank engine character created in the summer of 2022 as a one-off gift for my close personal friend with the same moniker that I knew in my early teenage years. The original model gift was made from a take-along Reneus, which I had previously modified in 2020 to be a whole nother OC for a whole nother channel for a whole nother series that doesn't exist anymore. The character has no real-life basis, but I based its likeness on the Bluebell Railway's Captain Baxter. Many of my friends have also commented on how the character bears a resemblance to Lady from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. The Dana character would appear infrequently in my art until early to mid-2023, where I devised a series centered around her, my character, and various other OCs of people I knew offline and online. Scripts were written, art was made, but the project was never finished. Nevertheless, I held on to the character, and her likeness will, possibly be in my next series, Rolling Around on Sodor. Back on topic, about a year after I first modeled the character, I had an idea to create a large cardboard model of her, based on the illustrations of her and inspired mainly from the brilliant cardboard models made by Master of the Lemons and my best friend Ryan Reg. The model started off as a math textbook, science project board, 2 rolls of masking tape, cardboard packaging from a ramen bowl, a boba straw, a few toothpicks, and popsicles. No, this isn't some DIY recipe for a Powerpuff Girl. I started with a rough outline on the poster board of where I want the tank's smokebox, cab, and bunker to be. Using masking tape, I shaped out the running board, buffer beams, and wheels, the former of which I traced out using an old IHOP Kids Cup, and later thickened them out with 2 more cuttings for each wheel. I did this due to initial dissatisfaction with how thin the wheels were. Tracing the head of an Elmer's glue stick and folding the math textbook cover, I fashioned some pistons and then propped them up with folded paper so they'd stick out the right amount. I didn't glue anything down yet. That comes later. The tanks in the smokebox were reinforced with the same material. After cutting out the driver's cabin and taping it onto the model, I engineered a bunker for the loco using the ramen box I mentioned earlier. The wire tank caps were also made by tracing the head of an Elmer's glue stick, as was the dome. Folding the various math textbook pages came in handy for stability and giving the model some weight. The boiler and undercarriage were packed to the brim with folded up math textbook papers. Boba straws were cut, masked, superglued, and painted into some nice looking front and back buffer housings. The funnel was tedious to shape despite it just being folded up math textbook and masking tape. Using Craft Smart and Apple Barrel paints, I primed the loco in a gray undercoat, and once that dried, I moved on to painting the black undercarriage and smokebox. I also painted the yellow chimney cap, red buffer beams, and blue detailing basically everywhere else on the engine body and wheels. Buffer weathering was achieved by watering down various coats of black, gray, and white paint. All the lining was achieved by masking off areas with tape before painting, as well as painting yellow and black directly onto the masking tape and applying them to the model, a method I learned from Master of the Lemons, an inspiration of mine in the Thomas fandom. Doing this saved me a lot of time, as I don't really have a steady hand. Coupling hook and buffer housings were fashioned from small strips of cardboard. The lining on the actual locomotive herself was tedious, but frankly a lot of fun to do, made easier by the masking tape method I just mentioned, and the fact that all I had to do was minor touch-ups for the corners. 4 face masks were drawn by me, but only 2 were used, as the other 2 were prototypes from an Instagram video I made. Apple Barrel and Craft Smart paints have a really nasty drab and rough finish. Therefore, I came in with some Mod Podge to really give the model some pizzazz. I seriously love this stuff and the finish it gives to my models. It's another thing I picked up from Master of the Lemons. This was only done after all the areas were painted and accounted for. The lamp and the faces were not Mod Podged due to them being drawn with pencil and me not wanting to smudge the graphite on them. The coal in the bunker was achieved by folding up and ripping black construction papers, and the whistle was achieved via toothpicks wrapped in masking tape. Propped up on another toothpick, superglued to the boiler, and of course painted in yellow and black. Supergluing the wheels and the buffer detailing was actually not as hard as I initially thought. It was a matter of vertically and horizontally propping up the loco so I can get the best view and make sure it all came out straight. Side rods were originally planned to be made from popsicle sticks, but I decided the cardboard would be easier to work with. Mod Podge was applied and details were kept simple as to match my illustrations. Minor finishing touches aside, including checking over all the lining and adding more coats of Mod Podge, the model was basically done. And for those of you wondering, the lamp irons were indeed made with toothpicks, and yes, they are fragile. I printed, painted around, and traced the name and number before adding the final coats of Mod Podge. Again, this was done to match the style of my illustrations. I'm very proud of this custom model, and despite it being almost 2 years old now, it still holds up. I really wanted to capture the look of my simple illustrations back then, and I think I did an excellent job. On occasion, I sometimes ponder about upgrading it, especially that wacko, blunt-looking funnel. But I think I'll leave it as is, as a time capsule of my artistic journey. All my friends, my partner, and my parents are always highly fascinated by the logo whenever I have it out. It's definitely one of my favorite custom model creations. It only took about 2 weeks or so, give or take, to create. More characters were planned, but I settled on just doing Dana. It was an exhausting task despite how fun it was. Perhaps one day I'll attempt more custom engines and rolling stock. Maybe even other things too, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload, stream, or community post. Be sure to tell me what you would like to see next from this series or other series. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Kagamin's Wonderland, as well as my TikTok and Blue Sky. Expect more custom spotlights and stories to come in the following months. Thank you for stopping by, but visiting hours are over. You don't have to go home, but you can't really stay here.
Thank you so much, Vance. Love you lots. Bye, bestie.